still sick. I need a haircut, like real bad. And I'm gonna try to read 4 books. The general idea I'm going for, I think, is going to be 2 books off my TBR shelves, which are these. 1 library book from my spooky, where am I pointing? Spooky fall TBR jar thing, which I've already pulled. I'll pull it on camera next time. I wasn't thinking, but I already pulled it. And one library book, because my library books are overdue, so I gotta get through those. Okay, I think I know what I want. I think I'm gonna go with these. 1 relatively, not new release, but like newer release. 1 classic, and then my 2 library books, that's the word. So from my spooky whatever TBR jar, I have The Mary Shelley Club by Goldy, Moldavsky. And I know nothing about this. I saw Mary Shelley and I went, yeah, that'll do. Club rules. What is this, Fight Club? The Mary Shelley Club is a secret. Everybody gets 1 fear test that all members must help execute. You must perform the task assigned to you, no exceptions. Okay? You must pick your target before the test starts. That's your 8 ball. You may scare everybody else in the room, but if you don't sink your 8 ball, you failed the test, okay? The game isn't over until everyone's had their turn. A member of the club may never be a target, and the fear test ends when your target screams. Okay, I'm not sure what that has. I don't know a whole lot about Mary Shelley, to be totally honest. I know she was cool. Give that a go. The other library book I'm going to attempt. I may DNF some of these. Next up is Isabella Nagg and the Pot of Basil by Oliver Darkshire. Ooh, that's a cool last name. Again, no idea what this one is about. I picked this one specifically because it matched my nails at the time. You should not eat the goblin fruit, and yet it tempted. Always perfectly ripe, it tantalized the senses. You must not eat the goblin fruit, what people did and were lost. What is this book about? Oh, it's a cozy fantasy novel. Okay. Okay, so this will probably be fun. Following that, we've got The Night Ends with Fire by Khaw, which I did in fact buy, not for the cover, the sprayed edges, but for the end pages, because these look so cool. Never trust a dragon. I don't know what that means, because that's a phoenix, right? This is a Mulan retelling. So is the dragon Mushu? What are we doing? I'm curious about that one. Those end pages though. And finally, for a classic, I'm going to read Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. I know about this book, but I don't know like a whole lot about this book. It's just another one of those classics that I've never picked up. What? Okay, am I under the wrong impression of this book? This says on the back, it says, the only convincing love story of our century. I don't know if that's focusing or not. The only convincing love story of our century, but from Vanity Fair. I don't know if that's focusing correctly. I thought this was he wrote this to make fun of men who go after girls that are way too young for them. Is this actually a love story? Because if this is gonna make me incredibly uncomfortable, which I thought was the point. I guess we'll see. Did I need more library books? No. But did I get more library books anyway because I was there? Yeah. This is what I ended up getting while I was there. And I picked these solely either on like title, cover, or because I've heard of them. Do I know what any of these are about? No. I kind of like not knowing what I'm getting into. First one I picked up is Julie Chan is Dead by the name. I think the name is cut off. Oh no, it's not. Liann Zhang. And I picked this one up for the cover and because I have heard that this is good. I think I've heard people like this one. The only thing I know about it is there's twins and one of them is pretending to be the other twin because the other twin dies. That's all I know. That's all I really needed to know. This one I picked up specifically for the cover. It's called The Regrets by Amy Bonnaffons. Never heard of it. Don't know anything about it. I don't even think I've seen it before. I might have seen it before. I might have added it as one to read on Goodreads because I feel like this looks vaguely familiar, but I don't know. I must have seen it. I don't know if I ever added it or not. It says reality and dream collide in Amy Bonnaffons' dazzling, darkly playful debut novel about a love affair between the living and the dead. Okay, well that explains more about them. I guess they're the love affair. So now this one I got because I have seen it everywhere. The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Khaw. I don't have the best track record with Cassandra Khaw. I've read Nothing But Black and Teeth, and I think I called it Scooby-Doo fanfiction. So I'm willing to give this a try though. It's very tiny. I'm willing to give it a go. It's short. What could go wrong? Then I picked up The Second Chance Convenience Store by Ho-Yeon, I think that's pronounced, which is also a nice little short novel, and it looks cute. It looks maybe even cozy, dare I say. The Second Chance Convenience Store is a heartfelt and uplifting story of a woman fighting for her community and a man who has lost everything except the will to try again. Okay. It is translated from Korean, and I'm very wishy-washy when it comes to translated work. Sometimes I love them, and sometimes we do not get along. And the last thing I picked up was solely because I saw it and I went, I've been meaning to read that for a very long time and I still haven't, is On the Road by Jack Kerouac. I don't know if this is a classic for me. I've heard things about it in the past. I'm a little bit more lenient when it comes to classics just because I know it's like a time period thing. I say after just giving The Count of Monte Cristo 2 stars. But that was more because it was way too long. Like, I understood there were certain things in that book even if I didn't approve of it. I don't know about this one. The only reason I've been meaning to read Jack Kerouac is because my grandmother used to talk about him. They went to school together. They went to college together for a little bit and they used to hang out. I'll suffer through it for her. And then a little update on The Night Ends with Fire. I am I'm like roughly 8 chapters in, and we're following the main character Mei Lin, and we start off with her arguing with her father and her father's second wife, which is not her mother. Her mother died by drowning when she was little. They say she lost her mind and drowned herself in the river, like kind of not suspiciously, but it was just odd because she knew how to swim, but she drowned herself in the river. And we open with her arguing with her father and her father going, "You're old enough now, we need to find you a husband so I can get dowry money so I can buy more opium." He's an opium addict. She goes to the matchmaker. She ends up saving somebody and runs into one of the princes. There's 7 of them. She gets matched with a man who she witnesses beating a maid, and she goes, "I can't deal with that. There's no way I'm dealing with that. I'm gonna pretend to be a guy and just pretend to be my father's bastard son," which she does. She goes in, she enlists. They're just training. She takes the fall from one of her, what are they called? Not friends, they're not friends yet, but she takes the fall from one of her group. They're in groups and I can't think of what the word is, one of them, and ends up being like lashed by the prince. And that's kind of where we've ended. They're still training. She's fostering a friendship with the prince because he's teaching her alone how to do certain things, and she's teaching him how to use a staff, I think. Oh, important plot point that I just kind of glossed over. Her mother had a necklace that she wore when she died, and the stepmother gives Mei Lin this pendant before she leaves. She wears it and there's a voice coming from the pendant that is like kind of evil, I guess. Well, we don't know if it's evil or not, but it's like telling her things and like belittling her, and they called it the dragon pendant, which never trust a dragon. So is there a dragon soul in this pendant? They also talk about like a phoenix. There's a saying that they were talking about, like a phoenix hates iron, someone hates something like a phoenix hates iron. So I guess there's a phoenix at some point, or maybe it's just a saying. There's got to be a phoenix at some point. It's on the front of the book, but they've already talked about phoenixes, and the dragon and the pendant is the dragon pendant. So far I don't hate it. It's okay. I'm not one way or another about it. It's easy to read. I'm not very engaged with the story. I don't care that much so far. It's kind of an ungodly hour right now, but this wasn't on the agenda. I wasn't going to talk about this at all because there are some books like in series that I'm in the middle of that I just am not going to talk about much, and this was one of them. I just finished the last book in the Gossip Girl series, and they don't tell you who Gossip Girl is. You're telling me I went through all 12 of those books? I haven't read the prequel one or the slasher spinoff, I think it is. Whatever it is, I haven't read those yet. But I have a feeling they're not going to tell me in those books. But you're telling me I went through 12 books in that series. I pushed past the point where I got so annoyed with the way it was being written. I mean, it wasn't great to start with, but I pushed past it because I want to watch the TV show. I like to read the book before I watch things. And they didn't tell me who Gossip Girl is. That's like the whole point. I'm here. And I can't look it up because I know they tell you, and I'm pretty sure they tell you in the TV show. So I can't look it up because I don't want to be spoiled for the TV show. I'm going to go watch the TV show now. I'm so annoyed. I'm just going to go with my headcanon. It was Chuck. I'm DNFing The Night Ends with Fire. I got about 46% of the way in before I realized the pacing was really throwing me off. I don't do well with pacing in the first place, so when I find something poorly paced, it's just like a glaring factor for me. And another problem was I kept losing what was going on in the book, which I don't know is a factor with the pacing or the fact that I couldn't keep up with what was going on for some reason. There were sections where she was talking to the dragon in her necklace and having like visions or dreams or something, but I had trouble mentally figuring out when that split was. I tried switching to the audiobook. It was even worse. My mind was just drifting constantly while I was reading this. So I decided I'm just gonna give up. I'm not going to rate it on Goodreads or anything because I didn't really make it far enough, I think, where I'm comfortable giving it a proper rating. Sorry, I'm still really mucusy. It's driving me nuts. But if I were to rate it now on Goodreads, I would give it a 2, I think. Maybe not even. Maybe more like a 1.5, which would be rounded up to a 2 anyway. Oh well. I've also started on the Mary Shelley Club. Not very far into this one. I think I'm only a couple pages. I don't know where my bookmark went. So, yeah. I'm like 2-3 chapters into this. And it started off with, I think it's our main character. Our main character is home alone at the start of this, and someone breaks into her house, and then it just kind of like cuts short, and you don't know what's going on until the next chapter, because that was the prologue. Rachel is in a new school. The point of view shifts. The prologue was a third person, and the first chapter is first person, which threw me off a little bit. I don't know how to feel about this yet. She's starting a new school. She already doesn't get along with like the popular kids, and something I really didn't like was she was hiding from someone, and she pulls down this guy to kiss him, and she like doesn't ask him or anything. She just pulls him down and kisses him, and I'm like, I didn't like that. Oh, I'm still only a few chapters in, so I'll keep trying with this one. Isabella, Nagg, and the Pot of Basil though, going great. I don't know if it's going to be like 5-star material, maybe 4-star material, but I'm having a good time. I keep accidentally picturing them as hobbits, even though I know they're like full-size humans. I'm about a little more than a third of the way in on this one. And the plot is very slow. From what I understand so far is there's Mr. and Mrs. Nagg, Isabella Nagg, and I don't remember what the husband's name is, Henrik or something like that. They hate each other, so they don't interact a whole lot. But Henrik finds a grammar. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce it. It almost seems like a grimoire, because wizards exist in here too. The first chapter is the like village's wizard leaving a body underground and forgetting about it, which is not good, because apparently something with the goblins have to do with dead bodies, because there is a dead body found in another character's point of view. We also have Gwendolyn, who I don't really know what she's doing here. She's like trying to make a market out of the goblin fruit, but the goblins don't really understand business. So that's her part of the story. I'm all over the place with this. Sorry, I'm still a little. Mr. Nagg finds he finds a book, a magical book, and he brings it back for his wife, and his wife's like, well, I'm not good at anything, but it would be kind of cool if I could read this book. So she does, and she makes a potion that would make things have the ability to talk. She gives it to her donkey, thinks it doesn't work, comes back home, pours it in a pot of basil. That's where the pot of basil comes in, and comes to find out it worked, and both of them can now speak. She goes to look for the wizard, finds out he's dead. His Grimalkin's left behind, and the Grimalkin is bound to whatever wizard has this book, which is now her. So we're kind of like in that right now. She's doing different things. She learned how to make porridge, I think, with the magic, which is a lot for her because she only knows how to make one thing, and that's like boiled. And I just ended on Gwendolyn, which is the person trying to create a business out of the goblin fruit, finding a body. There are footnotes and things like thrown throughout. It's very footnotes. Tolkien meets who did Good Omens? Not Neil Gaiman. Terry Pratchett. It's giving Terry Pratchett. I'm not totally familiar with Terry Pratchett, but I'm having a good time. Maybe not a 5-star time, but it's a good break time. I'm giving it a 2. I liked the twist at the end, but getting there was excruciating. I'm really struggling with accepting the fact that I don't think YA is for me anymore. I'm gonna keep rooting around until I find another fave, and it's just gonna be like a string of 1 and 2 stars, maybe 3 stars until we get there. But yeah, 2 stars. I would read something else from Moldavsky. I don't know, this was just it got a little gruesome. I don't know, teenagers running around with their club of pranking other people, and it just took a while to get to the ending that centers around this whole thing. And like they kept stringing out like the very first chapter, they kept stringing it out. I mean, I guess it was for a good reason, but like it was just like, you're giving us nothing. Go girl. Isabella, on the other hand, gets a 3. And this was actually for very similar reasons, despite this being a less than 300 page book. It was almost 300 pages, but it was less than 300 pages, I think. Wasn't it like 298 or something? Oh, it was 247. Ooh, that's quite a bit less than 300 pages, but it suffered from the same thing where it was just kind of slogging at one point. There wasn't a huge amount of plot to this, although there was a twist to it that kind of made up for the fact that we were just kind of slogging along until we got there. I wanted more of Isabella doing magic. There wasn't a whole lot of that, despite this being her learning that she can be a wizard via this book. It literally is just about Isabella and the pot of basil. That's what it is. I will say though, I wasn't thrilled with the surprise necrophilia. Could have done without that. Just kind of came out of left field. I guess it didn't totally come out of left field. It kind of, you could kind of see where it was going with the character, I guess, if you really thought about it. I don't even know if I really want to think about it. Just 3 stars though. Not my kind of cozy fantasy exactly. I'm still trying to find my cozy fantasy niche because Legends and Lattes, love Legends and Lattes. Since then, I've been on a little bit of a struggle. I've been having a little bit of a struggle with cozy fantasy. So I'm trying to find my niche, and this doesn't quite fit it. This though, not finished with it yet. I am 96 pages into this, and I feel like I've been reading this forever. It just doesn't end, and we've barely even gotten anywhere, I guess, but like, this is so uncomfortable to read. It's written really well. It's just constant, it's in first person, and he's like constantly making references, acknowledging that she is a child. And I think at one point he even goes like, this is not good, I shouldn't be doing this, this is depraved and wrong. And I don't know if he ever like admits feeling bad about it. I'm still a little phlegmy, sorry. This is just so uncomfortable. And I will continue to read it. This is absolutely not a love story though. I don't care where it goes from here. She's 12, and they make sure you know she is 12, and she acts like a 12-year-old. And this man is disgusting. Not this man. This man knows what he's doing. Well, that was uncomfortable. And at this point, with a lot of... My cat is crunching. Harley's gonna be joining me. Rejected. Okay, I'll see if she changes her mind later. I would not reread this. It was very well written. It was very well written, and it really got across the point, I think, like from my understanding, the point he was trying to make, where it's the doctor's note at the beginning it talks about, I guess, analyzing this man's journal to better understand how to prevent the way he preyed upon Lolita. He made me so mad. Well written, got the point across. Oh, there were certain parts where I was just like, I don't want to read this. I don't know where Vanity Fair is getting the only convincing love story of our century. Because like, even reading this, it was pretty obvious Humbert was not in love with her, and she was not in love with him. The only convincing love story of our century. Bitch, where? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to rant about this. I will have my bullet point review, whatever, of this up on TikTok at some point. Did I say what I rated it? I'm giving it a 3, I think. I have to like think about it a little bit more, ponder it a little bit more, but I think I'm giving it a 3. Did what it needed to do, would not read this again. Will not consume any Lolita media. Although, is Janet McCurdy's new book kind of based off of Lolita? Or is it based off of her personal experiences? Because I will read that. I do plan on reading that. Janet McCurdy has me by the throat. I will read anything she puts out. Okay, so full wrap up. We've got a 2-star, a 3-star, and another 3-star. That's like generally how my reading goes. My average rating is not very high. I think the last time I got a 5-star was when the new Hunger Games book came out. I think that might have been my last 5-star. I could be wrong. Anyway, that's it for this one, so thank you so much for watching. Bye.